Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Cancer 2024 forecast high. I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 12 cards, one for each month of the year, which will give you a good overview as to how things are playing out over the course of the year. Now, of course, the in-depth monthly readings are on the channel under the content section, I suppose. Usually I have the current month and the one before, so make sure you have a look at those as well. Now, what I will say here, though, is that I've actually, interestingly though, I've lost count of the number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings I've done for cancers over the course of the last year. And if you might be interested in having a one-on-one reading with me from anywhere in the world, just check out the information that's in the description box below at the end of the video. I've also done a number of healings as well. Now, readings I charge for, I have to, but healings is my sole contract that I provide that spiritual gift for free. So if you or someone that you know is interested in a healing, then that information is in the description as well, and there's no obligation or catches or anything like that with it. It's totally free and nothing gets sold to you or recommended. Now, what we do have here is, of course, your recollection that there are no video advertisements in this content, and so you get to enjoy the experience without interruption from video ads. Now, let's get it underway for you, shall we? Let's see what there is for January. There is the Hierophant. That's an interesting card for January. February, the Queen of Cups. March, Two of Wands. April, the Moon. May, the Six of Swords. Glad to see that's turned up after the Moon. June is the World. What a fantastic image. You're going to love the artwork on this. This is a medieval sort of a deck, this, with really outstanding artistry or artwork on it. I love it anyway. And that's the Page of Cups. There's the King of Swords. I get a really good response to it. So that's the main thing, isn't it? So that way I get to tell you with no strings attached as to what is going to be happening throughout the course of the year. And that was whatever that was. That was probably October, November. That was the Ace of Coins, incidentally, the Knight of Cups before that. Here is the Four of Swords, and what is this? This, to finish the year, is the Ace of Wands. Well, why don't I bring the vision around here next to me? You and I can have a good look at this fascinating artwork together while I do the reading for you. Well, it looks like a great year. Let's have a look at this first card in January. You'll recall it's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Let's have a look at this first card, which is that of the Hierophant. Now, I actually see this as a representation, if you like, of spirit itself. Now, people may object to that being presented in the way of a priest, because priests, in some respect, have recently got something of a bad reputation, it must be said, have they not? But it's a representation, remember, and what is important is that this is a time, I think, for you where spirit, where this is a representation of spirit, the spirit is going to be around you and in your life. And a time when you will look back on the previous year and say to yourself, what is it that I have done? What have I failed to do? And which things have offended my conscience? And you'll examine your conscience and make peace with yourself and with your God, knowing that we are not perfect on this plane. We're not stupid or inept. Rather, we are perfect, we are imperfect and human, and setting ourselves up for anything else is just a recipe for disaster. Now, this has got the spiritual energy of Taurus all over it, I think, here. So I think that you could find that you become, in some respect, a teacher of people, advising people, counseling people. You will be starting some things, of course. I think there are some resolutions that you'll be making which you are then going to put into place. But just do one, because too many, you'll end up doing nothing. There is a feeling here also of learning and teaching again is what I have here. There's There's a time, I think, for you to just go with the flow with respect to rules and regulations and traditions in your life. Now, you may not necessarily agree with those rules or traditions, but for the sake of other people around you, just go along with them and make any revolutionary activity something for the end of January and beyond. Now, I do think that you will be very skillful in getting information across to other people and also of inspiring other people. Now, you may well find that you are quite committed to the concept of a community, or really committed to the friendships that you have around you. And interestingly, now you may have an interest in sounds and music already, but I think that your sense of hearing is going to be particularly acute during this period, and you'll notice other things out in nature, cars, and rejoice and just wonder in everything that is going across. Now, you will be good at listening to people, understanding them, and speaking to them in a way which gets your point of view across, because you'll be wanting to make your ideas tangible at this time, and there is a deep desire to be challenged by new experiences. Then in February, what do we have? Well, we have Cancer spiritually all over this card, I feel. And I also think that there is Gemini around here as well. So a Gemini could well be important to you. Now, what you might find at this time is that you get particularly affected by what is going on around you, and also what other people are saying and how they are behaving. Now, that can or may not be a good thing. And you'll remember what your mother always told you, that you are judged by the company that you keep. And so this is a time when you must make sure that people around you are positive and supportive and cut loose those situations and people which are not affecting you in a good way. This is a time when your emotions are going to be shown openly, I think. You will be very intuitive, an observer. Now, in February, you might be quite dreamy and peaceful, almost poetic in a way. And yet what I see here is that you will see yourself in other people, and you'll also see through others and reflect that back to them. Now, I think what you're also going to do is to say, well, my friends are good, and you'll be able to get along very well and relate to your friends in a deep way. You might be quite meditative, following on from this period in January where you are examining your conscience and saying, okay, life is not a sentence. I'm not going to be imprisoned for those things I have thought, said, or done, or failed to do, but rather I've made peace and I'm moving on. So that might be quite an inward period for you here in February as well. Now, you'll be very practical, and you'll be able to communicate your feelings and your realizations simply to other people. And I do think that there is a need to get in touch with your inner feelings and be able to express them to others. And there is, I think, here the need to develop intuitively, emotionally, and also to relate to others emotionally. Then what's coming up here in March, we've got this card, which is what? Two of Wands. Well, this is good for you because I see this spiritual astrological energy as being Mars in its own sign of Aries, and the first decan of Aries, that primeval pushing out 21st of March to the 30th of March. Now, I think what this is saying is that you will have with you something of a warlike energy. You'll have the sense of wanting to be like a dynamic pioneer. You may want to dominate or master a situation. Or actually, I can see you going about dominating another person, certainly dominating a situation. Maybe when I say domination, a better expression might be command, in the sense of having command of yourself as well. Now, this condition of command demands that your energies are collected and concentrated to provide the courage necessary to embark upon new paths. Now, whatever changes may occur along the way, you as the pioneer here will not be put off course. Actually, I can see that you are going to be possessed by a great degree of boldness, courage, fierceness, and, dare I say it, even a shamelessness. You'll be generous and proud. But, and I'll mention this only because the energy is here, there could be a certain amount of revenge building up within you as well. This is saying to me that your will is beginning to rebel against its preset boundaries come hell or high water, and you'll be using your willpower to break through stagnant situations and remove long-standing blocks. This time in March is definitely a time to act, and act on your instinct and what you believe to be right without overthinking the situation. Then in April, what do we have? Oh, we have this major arcana here. Now, we'll give a description of the major arcana, I think, to see what I see in it. But of course, with these cards, why I'm not giving descriptions of each of them is that you'll take from them what you think is right for you. But my take on this here, the moon is appearing as a girl who is strolling on the Earth's surface, emotional, sensitive, and yet considerate. However, her beauty and serenity, they portray, I think, something of a deceptive image as she stimulates intense dreams, otherworldly experiences, and a sort of a distorted reality, which can emerge from the deepest corners of the human soul. You know, this moon card here rules your subconscious. Now, of course, it's actually your ruler, of course, the moon, isn't it? So it's a great card for you. But she stimulates your intuition and also sleep, but can bring about some fears and anxieties and certainly some deep memories. Now, the spiritual astrology of the card for me here is that of Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. And the question for you at this time is this: is it a reality or is it an illusion? Do you know, Pisces is very much associated, like the moon, with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition, and with artistry. And I think that the presence of this Pisces energy here fits very well with this energy of the moon. And Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams, visions, and the imagination, which links it in well, I think, with the qualities of the moon. So there could well be that you're coming across a situation here where you've been conducting things along your path, and now what is coming is that there is a final testing for you. It's almost like it's an examination for you, and you'll be considering whether you've maybe made a wrong turn here. You'll also be considering whether a situation or a person is an illusion, looking behind what they say. There is the interaction with your subconscious here. And there could be some times when there is some mental confusion or a lack of clarity. The main thing is here, though, that I think that you could well find that your intuition is at an all-time high. But look, this is suggesting to me that this is a time in your life when something is not as it appears to be, a situation that is deceiving. Now, you could find that you feel lost in life and unsure about which way to go, that you are lost in the dark with no signposts, but I can assure you that the darkest hour is just before the dawn. I really do get a sense of shadow self here for you. Now, we all have a shadow self, and you must embrace it. You must accept your shadows. Treat them as worthy parts of you, because locking them up in a dark, confined space makes things and them just turn strange. All of your sides make you up for the wonderful person that you are. Now, there could be some negativity around that you have suppressed, or maybe not even be aware of. And there is a need to release that. Maybe often these things come up from childhood, you know. But, you know, you get past that period of uncertainty, I suppose, by using that very fine mind of yours, because here, spiritually, the astrology is that of Mercury ruling the second decan of Aquarius, the 30th of January to the 9th of February. Well, the air planet of Mercury finds itself in the fixed sign of air, which is Aquarius. And Mercury happens to be exalted in Aquarius, which highlights the intellectual qualities of this card. And Aquarius is an air sign, which is detached and intellectual by nature. And Mercury's ability to analyze things now brings a clear perspective for you going forward. This spiritual astrology that I see here for you suggests that a somewhat detached but balanced assessment of a situation is needed. You need to analyze something without bias and too much emotion in order to get the best result. Now, Aquarius is also the sign of new things, of originality, so this can also represent you communicating new ideas, even unconventional ideas, in a very orderly way. You know, your intellectual clarity that you have now means that you have learnt from difficult experiences, and you have grown through tough times, haven't you? And now you have a handle on life and can make intelligent decisions that are going to benefit your life. There is a greater level of awareness to your thinking and actions now, and it means, I think, that, well, maybe if to date you haven't really been able to get to grips with a situation, that situation is now turning around for the better, and you are thinking out a better approach in dealing with that situation. Then there's a major arcana here, and it says what? It is the world. The world. Let's have a look at the world and see what world has to say. Well, here is the world in all of its splendor, and its inhabitants are in absolute agreement with each other. Adam and Eve, it seems, are not yet expelled from heaven, and the scene reflects the harmony, beauty, and perfection of the universe itself. Now, I must say that I am getting very much the feeling of travel around you here at this time, and a liberation from something that has been holding you back. There's a completion of a project. Your efforts are finally paying off. Now, it has been a long, hard haul, I think, but you're almost there, and this is a reminder for you to finish what you've started. And you'll be learning to take control of your own destiny. The power of your will be used to get results, and you may well be coming to a new level of spiritual understanding. You will be very gifted at finishing things at the same time as you start other things, and you will be able to bring change into institutions or strongly structured environments. Now, you might find that you are quite interested in the planet, the earth, and nature, and to be ecologically minded. There's an experience here which is calling you to see as much of the world and its people as possible. But this is saying to you now, for you to say this: I am at one with the universe. Now we're going to have to move along pretty quickly, I think, for the second half of the year. Let's have a look to see here, the Page of Cups. Well, let's have a look. Page of Cups, what do you say? Well, she says that Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Libra are going to be important to you. Now, it could be one of those people, you know, that I just mentioned there that's in your life. I see a young woman who's very gracious, voluptuous, sweet, gentle, kind, and romantic. You will have emotional freedom at this time, and you will have conquered jealousy and have a great trust in yourself. There'll be a great sensitivity around you as well. You should at this time trust your feelings and perceptions because you are on the right path. Now, is there anything at this time that's going to prevent you from being fully free? Because you'll have the opportunity to let it go. And say this to yourself: the more I love myself, the more I can share with others. And then in August, what's coming along? We have this King of Swords, and there's spiritual energies coming around it, which could also reflect people, because we are all have emerged from the spirit. And I'm getting Gemini, and I'm getting Taurus. He is the Lord of winds and breezes. Now, why am I getting Gemini and Taurus, I wonder? I think it's because you're going to have the energy of the mind, which is there with Gemini, with the influence and the stability and determination of Taurus. And so I think you will be active, clever, skillful, fierce, and courageous. But it is possible, I think, that you might find that you are often unreflective on the things that you do and start off on things in a way of blind impulse, because you'll be greatly ambitious and goal-oriented at this time. You'll have flexible intellectual powers, a great passion with you, and almost a savagery, if I can put it that way. Now we come to the August, September. Oh, here's the Knight of Cups. Hello, Knight. Now, I think this could be somebody that's in your life, actually, at this time. And I'm getting around here Scorpio and Libra. And I do think that those elements, here that air, that element of Libra combining with Scorpio makes, I think it's a man, quite an intense character. Now, as a fast river flows, so does he, trying to get the most out of life as is possible. Now, this is speaking to me of time for you, and possibly also of this person, where there will be desires within you, wishes, cravings. But it's also the time of great possibility of transformation within yourself. Now, this other person that I see here has the ability to detach, as Libra is an air sign, from the heavy, intense and controlling emotions of Scorpio. And this shows someone who can be in control of their emotions, but being detached and cool can often be a front for insecurity and fear. And this is a person, I think, who is completely without conscience in the ordinary sense of the word, someone who is perfectly ruthless and who cares intensely for power, for information, and for his own aims. And he doesn't feel responsibility for anybody else, and ultimately he can't be relied upon. He cares intensely for power and information. And if you're any concerns about where you stand in relation to him, you stand behind him. Now, I'm calling him a him, of course, because it's depicted as a male, but these court cards can be of either gender, so those characteristics I spoke of could well apply to a woman as well. Then in October, we have the Ace of Coins. Is it excellent? What a wonderful, wonderful gift the Ace of Coins is. And I'm getting here Taurus, Gemini, and Aries around it. This is the beginning of something really tangible for you. That is material, that is real. There's a prosperity and growth. There's a sense of material abundance and the feeling that your finances are improving. Now, there could well be a promotion or a pay rise here, but there's good luck around this energy. Unexpected value coming in your way. There's an inner and outer richness, great success, and unification of the body and soul, material and spirit, heaven and earth. There's a wholeness here. Now, aces relate to new beginnings and opportunities, and in the suit of coins here, this relates to work projects, however broadly you want to define that, and new beginnings. But say this to yourself: wealth is my natural condition. It allows me to express my spirituality and creative potential in this world, and I am in harmony with the flow of nature. Now then we get into November, and in November we have this Four of Swords that's here. Now, where it is in this period of November and with these other cards around it, spiritually it is Jupiter ruling the third decan of Libra. 14th of October to the 22nd of October. Look, Libra tries to find balance in your life, doesn't it? But the need for balance can sometimes create unrest, and Libra can sometimes induce indecision. But Jupiter is coming in here, the great benefic of the zodiac, to give you a period of rest from what might be a difficult situation, as well as opening your higher mind's flexibility, which is needed to resolve conflicts in your life. And Jupiter allows you to move on. So you'll be calm, centered. There's a clarity with you, maybe a spiritual cleansing, expansion. It's a great period of healing and recuperation as well, I have to say. But there is a period here where you will be in quiet consideration, seeing what's going on, and taking a break from the aggravations of life. And then where do we go? We come then to December, and December has another fantastic ace that's here. Leo is here, so is Cancer all around it, and there's Virgo, so this particularly applies to you. And it's talking about great new willpower being invested in you. So much so that I would say this, that there is nothing you cannot be, there is nothing you cannot do, there is nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created. For who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you do not know who you are, and you think you are a great deal less. You are your own rule maker, and you are the only one who can assess how you are doing. Now, all you see in the world is your idea about it. Life will take off for you when you choose for it to. An idea becomes a thought becomes a word. Say it out loud. Words have power, and they echo all throughout eternity. And a word becomes an action. And if you're going to do something, start. And having started, go all the way. Seize the opportunities in front of you now. Rejoice in them, and let no power on earth take them from you.
I thought that was fascinating, didn't you? And didn't you enjoy the artwork on the cards? It's so unusual, isn't it? You don't really see anything like it anywhere like that. I must try and remember who it was that gave this to me. And you know, the best thing is with tarot decks is that people actually gift them to you rather than you buy them yourself. Did you know that? And the tradition is to tie string around the deck before you give it to the person as well. That's the old tradition anyway. But look, if you did enjoy the reading, please do me this favor, and it's the only thing that I ask for you. Would you smash the like button on the way out, because it's good for the YouTube computer thing. You know, you understand how that works, probably a lot better than I do, I must say. But until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until then, it's bye for now.